What do you do to start building a bank? Do you like sit there and read? Is there a book called How to Get a Banking License? Like, what do you do?
There isn't a book. Fortunately, there are people. So the easiest thing in our case was to go and find the people who have done it before. And so, case in point, we just went and tried to talk to all of the other founders of the other challenger banks. And so, you and I have talked about this before. Like, Tom Blumfield is basically the only founder of Monzo who I haven't spent a lot of time with. Like, a considerable amount of time, especially with Jonas, who was very, very generous with his time. In that first conversation, I was like, here's what I want to do, and I think I can solve these problems in these ways. And he was like, and how are you going to do this? And I was like, I don't even know what that thing is that you just mentioned. He was like, okay, cool. You're going to need to go and read this book. You don't know anything about compliance. Let me tell you where to get started. It is the Joint Money Laundering Steering Group. Go and read their recommendations end to end. That will tell you like 90% of what you need to know in terms of just like the scaffolding for financial crime compliance in the UK, right? And then there's like just like the really mundane thing of like literally how do you do this? Right? Like, how do you actually like apply for a bank license? And I think there's like a little bit of this kind of fantasy that people have in their minds where you show up with this giant vanilla envelope and you kind of plop it on the table, right? And then 2 years go by and they come back with a yes or no. That's not the way the UK works. The way the UK works is very iterative. You share materials, they give you feedback. And this process is one that's designed to be better for the applicant. And it is better for the applicant because you get to regular review and feedback as you go. Yes, it takes longer, but on the other hand, you can run this process like actually quite lightweight, right? You don't need a large team of people while you're kind of doing this kind of material workshopping. But the day zero is like, I picked up a phone and I called a phone number and I said, hi, I want to apply for a bank license. And the woman said, yes, you should send us an email. And she was like, this is the email address, and you should include a deck that says what you want to do. Like, okay, thank you, ma'am. Click.
At this point, have you modeled it out? Have you got like a 5-year financial model and like board members?
Yes, but like it hasn't been touched by a CFO. It's been written by me. Right? Like,
wow.
It's like, they'll send something in, they'll take a month or 2 or 3 or 4, unfortunately, in some cases, to review it. They'll then send you a couple pages of feedback, maybe somewhere between 20 and 60 kind of questions and comments on, we'd like to see more detail on this. We noticed that you have this. How are you going to manage this risk? Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to work your way through all of this. And then they used to say, all right, like, we're satisfied. We invite you to apply. They no longer say this. Now they just say we have no further comments. And when they say that they have no further comments, what they mean is if you apply, we intend to accept.